Have you ever wondered why some people seem to sail through their 60s and beyond, while others feel like they're just hanging on? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, glad you're with us. You clicked on 5 surprising pillars to build a rock-solid life after 60. And if you're peeking at that thumbnail, an older person standing tall with a checklist, while a family photo fades into the background, you're probably asking yourself, what are these pillars? Can they really give me security as I get older? And why does it look like family isn't the rock I thought it was? I'm right there with you, and trust me, we're about to dive into something that could totally shake up how you see your future. So grab a coffee, get comfy, let's unpack this together. Think about this for a second. When you were younger, say in your 30s or 40s, life felt predictable, right? You had your crew, your kids under your roof, your siblings just a call away, maybe your parents still hosting Sunday dinners. You were the one holding it all together, the glue. If your daughter needed help with rent, you wrote the check. If your brother's car broke down, you were there with jumper cables or a ride. It was a two-way street, or so you thought. You figured, I've got their backs, they'll have mine. And that makes sense when you're in the thick of it. When everyone's close and the days are full, family feels like this unbreakable safety net, the thing that'll catch you no matter what. But then you hit 60, maybe 65. And something weird happens. The net starts to stretch. Your kids, they've got kids of their own now. Diapers, soccer games, mortgages that keep them up at night. Your siblings, they're either halfway across the country, dealing with their own creaky knees, or just not as quick to pick up the phone. It's not that they don't love you, don't get me wrong, they probably do, deeply. It's just that life has this way of pulling people in a million directions. You're sitting there, maybe with a busted water heater or a lonely Tuesday night, thinking, wait, where'd everybody go? And that's the moment it hits, the support you always counted on. It's not as solid as it used to be. Now, I'm not saying family's out of the picture, far from it. They're still part of your story, and for a lot of us, they're irreplaceable. But here's the thing, leaning on them as your only lifeline after 60 is like betting your whole retirement on a single stock. It's risky, and that's where these 5 pillars come in. You saw them in the title, 5 surprising pillars to build a rock-solid life after 60, and they're not what you'd expect. They're not about clinging to the past or hoping someone else steps up. They're about building something for you, something that stands strong even when the family photo starts to fade, not because they've abandoned you, but because they're human, just like you, with their own stuff to juggle. So what's the deal with these pillars? Are they some magic trick to make everything perfect? Nope. They're better than that. They're real, practical, and here's the kicker. They work for anyone willing to give them a shot. Whether you're 60 and just starting to feel the shift, or 75 and wondering how to keep going, these 5 things can give you security, freedom, and a kind of confidence you might not have felt in years. And that question about family, why they're not the answer you thought. It's not about them failing you, it's about life changing the game. Kids grow up, priorities flip, distances stretch. These pillars step in where that old net leaves gaps. I've seen it firsthand, not in my own 60s yet, but through the people I've worked with. I've spent years digging into what makes aging not just bearable, but awesome. I've coached folks who thought they were stuck, retirees staring at empty days, parents feeling forgotten, people terrified they'd outlive their savings or their energy. And what I've found is that the ones who thrive, they've got these pillars in place. Not all at once, not perfectly, but they've started. And that's what we're here for today, to crack open those 5 surprising secrets that answer your big questions. What are they? Can they work for me? Why isn't family enough anymore? Here's the promise, by the end of this video, you're not just going to know what these pillars are. You're going to see how they fit into your life. I'm not here to sell you some fluffy dream. I'm here to hand you tools I've tested with thousands of people through my coaching, my research, this channel. And to sweeten the deal, there's a free checklist waiting for you below, 5 steps to kickstart these pillars today. No fluff, just stuff you can do right now. So are you in? We're about to flip the script on what life after 60 can look like. Let's get into it. Shakur Chatiwaos. Pillar number 1, your money mindset. All right, pillar number 1, your money mindset. Let's start with a question. Have you ever thought about who's really got your back when the bills pile up? When you're younger, it's easy to think, oh, my family will help. Maybe you got kids you bailed out a dozen times, or a sibling who's always been good for a loan. But here's the kicker. After 60, that safety net starts to fray. Not because they don't love you, but because life gets messy for everyone. Picture this, Susan's 64. She's retired, living in a cute little house she's had forever. She's the kind of mom who's always been there, paid for her son's wedding, chipped in for his first down payment, even sent cash when his car broke down. She figured it went both ways, right? If she ever needed help, he'd step up. Then last year, her roof started leaking. Bad, like thousands of dollars to fix, bad. She called her son thinking, "I've got this," but he paused. "Mom, I'd love to help, but we're stretched thin. Daycare, the mortgage, everything." He wasn't being cold, he just couldn't swing it. Susan sat there, stunned. All those years of giving, and now what? That's where your money mindset comes in. It's not about being a millionaire. It's about taking control so you're not crossing your fingers hoping someone else can save you. I've seen this over and over with the people I coach. The ones who thrive, they've got a plan. They've got savings for emergencies like Susan's roof. They figured out a steady income stream, maybe a pension, some investments, or even a little side gig. They're not drowning in debt because they've learned to live within what they got. And that's not sexy, I get it. Budgeting isn't exactly the stuff of blockbuster movies, but it's power. It's knowing that when the unexpected hits, a medical bill, a car repair, whatever, you're not at anyone's mercy. Let's break it down. What does a solid money mindset look like? First, it's clarity. You've got to know what's coming in and what's going out. I tell people all the time, sit down, grab a coffee and map it out. Pension, Social Security, savings, whatever you've got. Then look at your expenses. Where's your money going? Are you still paying for stuff you don't need, like that gym membership you haven't used since 2019? Cut it. Second, it's preparation. Emergencies happen. Susan's roof wasn't a fluke. Stuff breaks, bodies age, costs pop up. Experts say you should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses tucked away. If that sounds impossible, start small, $50 a month, whatever you can. Third, it's growth. Maybe you're not working full-time anymore, but could you consult? Sell something you're good at. I know a guy who started fixing bikes at 68, made a few $100 a month and loved it. But it's more than numbers, it's attitude. Too many folks hit 60 and think, "I'm done, I'll just coast." That's a trap. Coasting works until it doesn't, until the furnace dies or the car won't start. A money mindset means staying curious. Read a book on personal finance, something simple like The Total Money Makeover. Talk to a planner if you can. I had a client, Diane, 66, who thought she was bad with money. She started watching free YouTube videos, basic stuff like how to save on groceries. A year later, she'd stashed $5,000. She laughed. "I didn't know I could do this." You can too. It's not about being a wizard. It's about small moves that stack up. And here's the deeper layer. Security shifts your whole vibe. When Susan's son couldn't help, she felt betrayed, not by him, but by her own assumptions. Now she's rebuilding. She's got a budget app, nothing fancy, just tracks her spending. She's selling old jewelry online, pocketing extra cash. She even negotiated her cable bill down $30 a month, called it her little win. She's not rich, but she's not scared. That's the shift. You stop seeing money as a burden and start seeing it as a tool. Maybe you downsize, sell the big house, pocket the difference. Maybe you rent out a room. I know a guy, Paul, 71, who turned his garage into an Airbnb spot. Nets him $500 a month. Creative, right? The payout? Freedom. When your money mindset is strong, you're not waiting for a check from your daughter or a guilt trip to your nephew. You're standing on your own 2 feet. Susan's still tweaking her plan, but she sleeps better. "I'm not helpless anymore," she said. You don't have to be either. Grab a notebook today. Write down one expense you can cut, one way to save $10 this week. Start there. Your money mindset. It's the pillar that holds steady no matter who's too busy to call. Pillar number 2, your body's strength. Pillar number 2, your body's strength. Let's kick this off with a question. How long do you want to keep doing the things you love? Hiking with your grandkids, gardening, even just walking to the mailbox without huffing. After 60, your body's either your best friend or your biggest roadblock. And here's the tough truth. No one can keep it strong for you. Not your kids, not your spouse, not your doctor. It's on you. I met Tom a few years back. He was 67, this big hardy guy who used to hike every weekend with his grandkids. He'd carry them on his shoulders, tromp through the woods, the whole deal. But after he retired, he got lazy, skipped the walks, ate whatever was easy, pizza, takeout, you name it. He figured, I've got time to fix this later. Then his knees started aching. Then they stopped working. Simple stuff. Getting off the couch, climbing stairs became a battle. He thought, no big deal, my daughter's nearby, she'll help. But she's got 2 kids, a job, a life. She'd stop by with groceries, sure, but she couldn't carry him up the stairs or make his legs work again. Tom realized too late. His body was his responsibility. That's why your body's strength is a pillar you can't ignore. It's not about looking like a 20-year-old fitness model. Let's be real, I'm not saying you need a six-pack. It's about freedom. If your health tanks, your options shrink. You can't travel, you can't play with your grandkids, you can't even enjoy a day out if you're stuck recovering from neglect. And family? They might care, but they can't do the work for you. They can't eat the veggies, lift the weights, or go to the doctor in your place. So how do you build this pillar? It's simpler than you think, but it takes consistency. Start with movement. You don't need a gym membership. Walk around the block. 15 minutes a day, that's it. I tell my coaching clients, stack it with something you already do. Listen to podcasts, call a friend, whatever keeps you going. Tom started with that. Short walks, then longer ones. His knees still creak, but he's moving again. Next, food. You don't have to go full kale and quinoa, though props if you do. Just swap out some junk for stuff that fuels you. More veggies, less sugar. I know a woman who started cooking 1 healthy meal a week at 62. Now she's down 20 pounds and feels 10 years younger. Then checkups. I get it. No one loves the doctor's office, but catching stuff early, blood pressure, cholesterol, saves you later. But let's go deeper. It's not just physical, it's mental too. When your body feels good, your head's clearer. Ever notice how a bad back or a stiff neck drags your whole mood down? Flip that. Move a little, and suddenly you're less grumpy. I had a client, Barb, 69, who swore she hated exercise. She started with chair stretches, 5 minutes while watching TV. A month later, she's doing 20 minutes and smiling more. I didn't know my body could still surprise me, she said. That's the magic. Small wins build momentum. Maybe you try swimming, low impact, feels great, or gardening. Digging's a workout if you do it right. And don't sleep on rest. Overdoing it's as bad as doing nothing. Sleep's your repair shop. 7 hours minimum. Tom ignored that. Stayed up late, woke up wrecked. Now he's in bed by 10, up at 6. Says it's like a reset button. Hydration too. Water's boring until you realize it keeps your joints happy. Little stuff adds up. I know a guy, Ray, 73, who started carrying a water bottle everywhere. Cut his headaches in half. He laughed. Who knew? You don't have to overhaul everything. Just pick one thing. Walk. Swap soda for water. Stretch while the coffee brews. Here's the real talk. Aging's not optional, but breaking down is. You see folks hunched over, shuffling, and think, that's 70. Nah, that's neglect. I met a woman, Clara, 81, still dances at weddings. She's been walking daily since 50, eats oatmeal most mornings, sees her doc twice a year. She's not superhuman, she's consistent. You can be too. Start where you're at. Can't walk far? Do 5 minutes. Hate veggies? Try one new one this week. The body adapts. It's built to. Tom's proof. He's not hauling grandkids yet, but he's eyeing a short trail next month. The payout? Independence. When your body's strong, you're not leaning on your son to mow the lawn or your niece to carry your bags. You're doing it. Tom's grinning again. I'm not done yet, he says. Neither are you. Pick one move today. Your body's strength is the pillar that keeps you free, no matter who's too busy to pitch in. Pillar number 3, your tribe. That's right. Pillar 3, your tribe. Here's a question to chew on. When was the last time you laughed so hard you couldn't breathe, or had a conversation that left you buzzing? After 60, it's easy to let your world shrink. Friends move, loved ones pass, and suddenly you're staring at an empty calendar. You might think, my family's enough, they'll keep me company. But let's be real, they've got lives too. Your tribe, the people outside your family, is a pillar you didn't know you needed until it's gone. Take Linda. She was 62, Kids grown and gone, one in California, one in Texas. She'd always been the hub, Thanksgiving at her place, game nights, all that. But after her husband passed, the house got quiet. Her kids called, sure, but they were busy. Careers, spouses, soccer practices. She'd sit by the phone, waiting for it to ring, feeling like a ghost in her own life. Then she hit a turning point. She saw a flyer for a gardening club at the library. Nothing fancy, just folks digging in the dirt. She showed up, awkward as heck, but they welcomed her. Now, she's got a crew, people who swap cuttings, sip coffee, check in if she's sick. Her kids still matter, but they're not her only lifeline. That's the thing about your tribe. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Studies back this up. Loneliness after 60 isn't just sad, it's dangerous. It messes with your heart, your brain, even how long you stick around. Family's awesome, but they can't be your everything. Your daughter's got her own chaos, work, kids, whatever. She might love you to death, but she's not dropping by every day to chat. Your tribe fills that gap. They're the ones who keep you laughing, keep you sharp, keep you you. How do you build it? Start where you're at. Got a hobby? Lean in. Linda had her gardening. Maybe you've got knitting, golf, old cars. No hobby? Try something new. Community centers, libraries, even online groups. There's stuff everywhere. I know a guy who joined a chess club at 66. Never played before, but now he's got buddies who trash talk over pawns. Don't overthink it. Say hi. Show up again. Let it grow. And keep it simple. Your tribe doesn't need to be 20 besties. 3 solid folks can change everything. But it's more than showing up. It's staying open. After 60, it's tempting to close off. I've got my people, you think. Then they drift, retire south, get sick, whatever. I coached a woman, Ellen, 68, who lost touch with everyone after moving. She started small, chatted with her mail carrier, then a neighbor. Now they've got a standing coffee date. I forgot how good this feels, she said. You don't need a big stage, just a spark. Maybe it's a book club, read something light, trade thoughts, or a walking group, exercise and talk. 2 birds, 1 stone. And don't discount the digital world. I know, I'm too old for that. Nope. I met a guy, Jim, 75, who joined a Facebook group for model trains. He's got pals in 3 states now, swapping pics, Zooming sometimes. Tech's not the devil, it's a bridge. Start easy, lurk in a group, comment once. It grows. Or go old school, write letters. I know a lady who revived pen pals at 70, says it's like Christmas every mail day. Point is, your tribe's out there, waiting. You just gotta reach. Here's the flip side, no tribe and you're stuck. Linda's old routine, waiting for calls, left her hollow. Now she's hosting plant swaps, laughing over dumb jokes. Her kids notice, she's lighter. Your tribe does that, lifts you when family's stretched. It's not replacing them, it's adding. Maybe you volunteer, food banks love help, or teach something. Your grandkids' school might need a reader. I know a retired nurse, 72, who tutors kids in math, says it keeps her young. The payout, connection. When your tribe's strong, you're not sitting around waiting for your nephew to remember your birthday. You've got people who get you. Maybe they're 50, maybe 80, doesn't matter. Linda's thriving. I'm not invisible anymore, she says. You're not either. Step out today, say hi to someone, join something. Your tribe. It's the pillar that keeps your world wide open, even when families juggling their own stuff. Pillar number 4, your inner drive. Pillar 4, your inner drive. Let's hit you with this. What gets you out of bed when the alarm's off and no one's counting on you? After 60, the roles that define you, parent, worker, whatever, start fading. Retirement hits, kids don't need you 24/7, and it's easy to wonder, what's the point? Family can cheer you on, but they can't hand you a reason to live. That's where your inner drive steps up. Meet Mike. He's 70, a widower, used to be a mechanic. When he retired, he was pumped. No more greasy hands, just fishing and TV. But after 6 months, he was climbing the walls. His kids checked in. Hey Dad, you okay? But they had their own orbits. He'd sit there, flipping channels, feeling like his best days were done. Then he saw an ad. A tech club needed volunteers to teach kids basic skills. Mike wasn't a computer guy, but he knew engines, close enough. He started showing up, fumbling at first, but soon he was teaching teens to code simple games. Now, He's up at 7 a.m. grinning because he's got purpose again. That's your inner drive. It's not about a paycheck or applause. It's about something that lights you up inside. Too many folks hit 60 and coast thinking, I've earned it. Sure you have, but coasting gets old fast. Without a spark, you're just watching life happen. And family, they can't fix that. Your son might say, take it easy, Mom, but easy doesn't fill the void. Your inner drive does. It keeps your mind buzzing, your heart in it, your days worth living. How do you find it? Look at what you've loved. Maybe it's tinkering, like Mike, or painting or storytelling. No big skills, no problem. Volunteers, schools, shelters, churches need help. Or learn something. Guitar, a language, whatever. I know a woman who started bird watching at 63. Now she's obsessed, leading local walks. Start small, but start. Set a goal. I'll try this once. If it sticks, run with it. If not, try again. It's not about being the best. It's about feeling alive. But let's dig in. It's not always obvious. Maybe you're thinking, I don't even know what I like anymore. That's normal. Start with what you used to enjoy. Loved cooking? Host a potluck. Good with kids? Read at the library. I coached a guy, Stan, 67, who'd forgotten he loved photography. He bought a cheap camera, started snapping sunsets. Now he's got a little Instagram following. It's silly, but it's mine, he said. That's it. Your drive's personal. Could be gardening, grow tomatoes, trade with neighbors, or writing. Jot your life story just for you. And don't wait for permission. Mike didn't, nobody told him, go teach. He just went. Too often, we think purpose needs a big stage. Nah, it's quiet stuff too. I know a lady, Sue, 65, who knits blankets for shelters. She's made 50, says every stitch feels good. Or take Ed, 74, who fixes up old radios, sells a few, keeps a few. Point is, it's yours to claim. Maybe you mentor, share what you know, or travel, short trips, new towns. I met a couple, both 68, who hit every diner in their state, call it their greasy spoon quest. Laughing, living. Here's the kicker. It fights the fade. After 60, it's easy to feel invisible. Kids don't need you, work's done. Drive flips that. Mike's teens look up to him. He's not old guy, he's the code dude. Your brain loves it too. Learning, doing, it keeps you sharp. Studies say purpose cuts dementia risk. Real stuff. So pick something. Can't decide? List 3 things you've enjoyed, ever. Try one this week. No pressure. Just dip in. The payout? Meaning, when your inner drive's firing, you're not waiting for your daughter to give your day purpose. You've got it. Mike's alive again. I'm not just waiting to die, he says. You're not either. Grab something today. Your inner drive's the pillar that keeps you lit, even when family's off doing their thing. But pillar number 5, your bounce back power. Pillar 5, your bounce back power. Here's the big one. How do you keep going when life knocks you flat? After 60, stuff happens. Friends fade, health wobbles, losses stack up. You might think, my family's my rock, they'll pull me through. But they've got their own storms. Your bounce back power. That's the pillar that's always there because it's you. Take Anna. She's 68. Her sister was her best friend. Phone calls every night, trips every summer. When she passed, Anna was gutted. She turned to her son. Can we talk? He'd listened, but he was juggling toddlers and a new job. He cared, but he couldn't be her therapist. Anna felt lost, like the grief would swallow her. Then she tried something, grabbed a notebook, started scribbling. Random stuff, memories, anger, whatever came up. Days turned to weeks, and she noticed she wasn't drowning anymore. She'd built her own lifeline. That's bounce back power. It's not ignoring pain or pretending you're fine. It's facing it, feeling it, and finding your way through. Life after 60 doesn't slow down, it changes. Maybe your spouse gets sick or your best buddy moves. Family might hug you and say, we're here, but they can't live it for you. They've got their own battles, divorces, kids, deadlines. Your strength, it's what picks you up when the phone doesn't ring. How do you build it? Start with outlets, Anna wrote. Maybe you talk to a counselor, meditate, walk it off, find what works. Next, lean on routine, grief, stress. They thrive on chaos. A daily anchor, coffee at 8, a book at night, grounds you. then gratitude. Sounds cheesy, but it's real. Anna started listing 3 things she still had: her garden, her cat, a sunny day. It didn't erase the hurt, but it shifted her lens. And if it's big, loss, depression, get help. Pros exist for a reason. But let's unpack that. Outlets aren't one size fits all. Writing's great, cheap, private. I know a guy, Dave, 70, who journals every morning. Says it's like unloading a backpack. Don't write, talk. A friend, a pastor, even a hotline. Someone hears you. Or move, punch a pillow, hike a hill. I coached a woman, Pat, 66, who started kickboxing after her divorce. I feel like a badass, she grinned. Routine's key too. Chaos feeds despair, structure starves it. Set a bedtime, cook a meal weekly, whatever sticks. Anna's notebook became her 9 p.m. thing. Now it's habit. Gratitude's trickier, feels forced when you're low. Start tiny. I woke up, the sun's out. I met a man, Leo, 77, who lost his wife, wrote 1 good thing daily, took months, but he said, it's like my eyes opened, and help, don't sleep on it. Therapy's not weak, it's smart. I know a vet, 64, who saw someone after PTSD flared. Saved my sanity, he said. Free groups work too, churches, online forums. Point is, you've got tools. Pick one. Here's the edge, it's cumulative. Every bounce builds muscle. Anna's sister wasn't her first hit. Lost her dad at 50, job at 55. Each time she learned, cry, then climb. You've got that too. Think back. What got you through? A breakup, a move, same grit works now. And it's not solo. Your tribe, pillar 3, ties in. Lean on them, but own it. Anna's garden club didn't fix her. They held space while she did. The payout? Resilience. When your bounce back power's strong, you're not waiting for your niece to fix your heart. You're doing it. Anna's steady. I'm tougher than I thought, she says. You are too. Try one tool today. Your bounce back power's the pillar that stands when everything else wobbles. Okay, there you go. 5 pillars to build a rock-solid life after 60. Your money mindset, your body strength, your tribe, your inner drive, and your bounce back power. These aren't just tips. They're your foundation when family can't always be front and center. Want to start now? Grab my free checklist below. 5 actionable steps to kick things off today. No excuses, it's right there. And listen, these pillars need fuel to work. Struggling to stay motivated? My next video's on 10 powerful ways to regain respect. Click here to watch it next. Drop a comment. What's one pillar you're building? I read them all, promise. Like, subscribe, share this with someone who needs it. I'll see you in the next one.